Nice to meet you, Neale.
It's wonderful to meet you.
I'm very happy to do this interview with you because I don't do many interviews. Actually, you are the first interview I'm doing, and that's in English, so I'm very happy and grateful for that.
Well, thank you. It's lovely to be here with you.
And how do you feel being in Paris?
It's wonderful. I love Paris. Everyone loves Paris. You know that. And so it's wonderful to be back. I've been here before, and it's wonderful to be back. It's like coming home.
That's a good feeling home everywhere. So I prepare like different questions. Maybe some of them people love asking you, and some maybe slightly different. So first of all, I have a very specific question about how do you deal with kind of being criticized? Because as I know, when we do a lot of events and we share a lot of different messages, some people are not agree with what we say. So how do you deal with that?
It's very okay with me, very okay, that people disagree with me. I really want people to think very hard about what I have to say. I don't want people to agree with me if they don't agree with me. I only want them to think about these topics because I don't observe that enough people think enough about the major questions of life.
Yeah.
So the purpose of my work in the world now is not to convince anyone of anything, but to invite people to really consider deeply the major questions of life. Who are we? Why are we here? What is the purpose of life? Is there a God? If there is a God, what does God want? Those kinds of questions. And what is our true relationship with each other? And finally, how can we help our world be a better place? Because right now, it's not such a pleasant place.
Yeah.
Unless you're in Paris, of course.
Unless you're in Paris. But that's funny because everything you're saying is in relation to my next question. You use the word God quite often. And as we know, people have a specific way of looking at this word, God. So how can we help people to change the way they look at this world, which is very close? It's not open for them. It is maybe someone in the sky, like someone with a physical body. I believe some people still have this way of thinking, and they don't see maybe it can be something different, something they can connect with. So how can we help people to look at this world, God, in a different way?
By simply inviting them to. By bringing them an opportunity to consider some alternate ideas about God, and then to see if they may have their own new thoughts about God. That's the point of my books, Conversations with God. It's to bring people an opportunity to consider maybe there's something we don't fully understand about God. The understanding of which would change everything. So how do we get people to do that? By just inviting them to, by encouraging them to consider the possibility that there may still be something to learn here, that we don't really have all the information, all the knowledge, and that we need to continue the search and continue the inquiry, and not close our mind because someone taught us something when we were children or when we were a younger person, and we just assume that that's all there is to know. So I think it's to continue the inquiry, and that's what I'm doing in my life, is inviting people to keep asking the big questions.
The big question, yeah. What we can feel, because I believe we feel good with ourselves when we focus more on this kind of inner connection we can have to something which is bigger than us. But I'm very fascinated by the fact you use this word, and other people may use the word source or universe. They use different words. But why did you choose this one specifically?
Because I think that word needs to be rehabilitated. I think we need to change people's mind about God, but you can't change people's mind about God if you won't call it by that name.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You can't change people's mind about source, change people's mind about the energy. If you want to change people's mind about God, you have to call it what it is that you're trying to change. So my mission, self-appointed, is to change the world's mind, not about schmizits, not about wakasapa, not about source, not about energy. My mission is to change the world's mind about God. So I use the term God because that's the word that we need to reconsider.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I have now different question, more general question, because I'm sure you inspired a lot of people to write a book. So how do you find the inspiration? Like, do you have some messages coming to you, or just like you write? But by the way, first question, do you write with your hands and a piece of paper, or with a screen?
Now I write with a computer.
Okay.
I started by hand,
Okay.
but now I write with a computer because I can type very fast.
Okay.
I'm a very good typist. I can type 65 words a minute.
Okay.
And so I can type almost as fast as I think. But when I was writing by hand, it would take me so long.
And you're missing some part, maybe.
Yes, I would forget. So I type now on a computer the thoughts I have. And how I decide to write a book is if I feel the urge, if I feel there's something that wants to be said, something that needs to be shared, I then allow myself to bring it through. It's as if someone was whispering in my ear, and I can feel that. And so I write it down as fast as I can.
And this feeling, you have this feeling in a specific environment, or it can happen everywhere? In a city, in this place, or you have to be in nature?
No, I don't have to be anywhere in particular.
Just here?
I might get an idea sitting on a train, being on an airplane, or being in the shower stall, or being anywhere at all.
So if you take a shower, you stop the shower and you write?
Well, I get to the computer as fast as I can before I forget the idea. But like a songwriter or a novelist or someone who writes screenplays, when you get an inspiration, you try to get to, even if I can't get to a computer, I'll pick up a pen and write down at least the idea, the thought. And then I pick up on that and do a more expansive version of it on the computer. But I don't have to be any place in particular.
This is good. So you do not depend on a specific situation?
No. No.
Okay.
I just stay open. It's important to stay open.
Okay. I have a different question. What do you think about the practice of yoga and meditation? Do you think that's a need or something which can help? What do you think about it? The practice of yoga and meditation.
I think everyone's experience is individual.
Okay.
So I can't answer for anybody else.
Okay, I love this. Okay. So a different question. What's your idea of success? Because that's a word as well. Same thing as God.
Success to me is feeling good about myself because I feel connected to the world, and I feel connected to God. So success is feeling happy with myself, being happy to be alive, and being happy to be able to love. Success to me is being able to love everybody else.
Okay. So if you have three advice to achieve this idea of success, it would be one, loving people.
I think my advice would be to understand that life has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with me, that my life is not really about me, it's about everyone whose life I touch and the way in which I touch it.
Okay. And how people can do that, being more loving to someone else. Because sometimes we compare ourselves to someone else, we look at their life and we look at our life, and sometimes people have this they feel disconnected with different people, and you can see that in a big city, people are not fully connected. So how can they find a way to feel more connected? And then
I use a question.
okay.
I ask myself in my mind when I see anybody else, is there any part of me that I'm seeing over there?
That's a good question. I like it.
And almost always there is.
Yeah.
Maybe not the whole picture,
Yeah.
but there's always some part of me that I'm seeing over there. For instance, when I look at you, I see a person who's intellectually curious and who has many questions and who continues to seek for answers and who's open to responses and doesn't close anything off. And I think to myself, he's just like me. In that way, in that way, he's just like me. So I see a part of myself over there. And I see a part of myself in almost everyone that I see.
Yeah.
You know, even people who I don't admire, even people whose actions I'm not happy with, I see those actions and I think, have I ever been like that? Have I ever been unpleasant? Have I ever been domineering? Have I ever been abrupt or careless with people's feelings? And of course the answer is yes, of course
So
I
we
have.
have more compassion.
So I continually ask myself, what part of me am I seeing over there? And then if I can embrace that part of me and love it, even the not so nice parts, then I can embrace and love the person across the room as well.
That's interesting. That's a good question. So I know you're very busy, so I try to make sure about the time because you have a conference in 2 days on Thursday in Paris. I'm sure people would love to come there. And so 2 more questions to finish with that. If you have advice to give to you 20 years old, you know, if you look at back in the days, long time ago maybe, which advice will you give to your 20 years old as the way a 20 years old can be?
I would say to a 20-year-old person, look closely to see what your priorities are, what's important to you, and why is it important. And consider the possibility that there's more going on here than meets the eye.
Okay.
There's more happening than you may think is happening. And I would say to a 20-year-old, give yourself permission to think, what decisions and choices would I make in my life if I thought my life was about my soul and not about my body or my mind?
Yeah. Okay.
What if I thought that I was a spiritual entity and not simply a physical being?
Yeah, because physical means we have limitation, and when we are spiritual, we don't have limitation. Okay.
We also have a different reason,
Yeah.
if we're spiritual, a different reason for living, a different purpose in life that has nothing to do with get the guy, get the girl, get the car, get the job, get the house, get the better car, get the better job, get the better house, get the clothes, get the fame, get the money. Your life has different priorities and different reasons for making the choices that we make.
Thank you for that. So last question before we finish. What is the impact you want to have in this world?
I want to help change the mind of the world about God. I want to give people back to themselves, and I want to awaken the species. Those are my 3 missions in life. To awaken the species is my most important mission. To awaken people to who they really are and why we're all here.
Thank you for that. I think you're doing a good job on that.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for saying
Yeah.
that.
People really love listening to you when they read you. Because I think when we read a book, we have the feeling the person is speaking to us. And this is a good way to help people to change the way they look at life, the way they look at God.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So thanks a lot for your time. I'm very grateful for this interview, for having you here in this space in Paris. So thank you. I'm very deeply grateful.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.